Brian says this a lot, revenue for vanity, profit for sanity. So don't look at your top number and how much you sold the job for, how much did you make on it? You sold a $50,000 kitchen, but if you only made $500 on it, what are you doing, right? So it's not the top number, it's the bottom number. In order to pull off reverse engineering, you need to really have a solid profit model. So John talks about 20%, a lot of people talk about 20%. My model, I make 60%. It's a different model. I do small jobs. I'm a boutique contractor. I don't do many jobs at once. But my model, I make 60%. 60 to 62 every single time. Net profit, 62. All right? After I cover my labor, my trash removal, my materials, and my overhead, I'm clearing 62%. I make a good living. Not rich. I'm not a millionaire, but I fund my life. I get whatever I want. I go on my vacations. So you know your numbers. And how do I get that? You got to tell a good story, right? That's what I learned from John. That's what I learned from a lot of these people. Is you want to sell a $50,000 kitchen, you got to tell a $100,000 story. Minimum. Right? It's all about the story. And so I'm doing the same work, but I'm charging more. I'm doing less, but I'm making more. I don't need as many jobs. We talked about that last time. I don't need as many guys. I don't need as many jobs. I can charge more, and I don't need as many customers to bite because I only need a certain amount of customers per year. I book out my schedule, I'm hitting my numbers, and I'm good to go. So either you're in my 20% or you're not. And that's the Pareto principle, right? You don't need every customer. Figure out the ones that you're making the best money on. The ones that don't haggle, that don't bother you, they love what you do, they're giving you 5-star reviews, they're easygoing. That's your bread and butter. Anybody else, why are you dealing with them? It's just a headache. And you're not making money there. You'll have a much better understanding of the size of the company you'll need once you understand your profit model. Don't focus on how much you sell, focus on how much you keep. Click. So there's a proven formula. Minimum is 15 to 20. Like I said, that's across the board. Depending on where you are, you might need to adjust these numbers. Click. Okay. So there was questions. I'll run through them quickly because again, this is just a recap. How much money specifically do you need to make so you can live your ideal lifestyle? How much do you need for a home each month? How much do you need for your cars, for your travel, your fun, your education, investments, and tithing? Charity. How much total wealth, a specific number, do you need by the end of the year? Is it 200,000? Is it 400,000? Is it $1 million? How much do you need? How much do you need in 3 years or in 10 years? Click. Question 3. Are you in the relationships you want to be in? That's what I talked about earlier. Like, do you work for someone that you don't want to work for? Do you have employees that you don't like? Like, who do you surround yourself with every day? Personal and professional. What needs to change for this to happen? Click. If you had total control over your time, what would you do differently? What are your goals outside of business? And are you working towards them? Your purpose? Your reason to exist? Are you working towards these goals? How much time away from your business do you want to pursue your life's interests? So like I said, I like to take at least 4 weeks a year. A couple of years ago, I read this book called The 4-Hour Work Week, and I was so intrigued, and I was like, that's what I want. I was not able to achieve it, but I'm still kind of working towards it. If you have the right people and the right set, I was down to like 20-hour weeks, where I had days where I was just hanging out, and you know, and the jobs are going on, I'm traveling, so you can achieve it. So if you haven't read it, it's Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week. Sick book. I'm actually reading now, it's called The Tools of Titan. It's a really big book. I bought it, but it's too big for me to even crack it open. It's just like I get anxiety even looking at it. It's too big. So I got the Audible. He interviews like a lot of people, and he has like a 2-page thing on every person. And so today was Malcolm Gladwell I was listening to in the car. Really good stuff. What do you want for your family? Do you want a new home, boat, toys? Everything I've been wanting, I'm buying. I want something, I get it. At 40, I got an electric dirt bike. I just bought myself a Mercedes, like a sidecar. I wanted a watch, I got a watch. We wanted to go to Italy, we took the kids to Italy. And it's all because I'm understanding this is what we're working towards. let's price out the jobs correctly, and let's get there. And 2-3 years ago, I wasn't able to do any of this. So it's coming here, learning this, going to the events. I've really changed my whole game in the way I do business. Bonus question. If you got a check today for $10 million tax-free, what would you do tomorrow? Would you go to work? Would you stay home? Click. Okay. So, did you answer from a place of faith or fear? The size of your success is only limited by the size of your thinking, right? So, if you have self-limiting beliefs, that's only as far as you're going to get. Right now, you might not believe you can do it, but we're only at secret number 1 and have a long way to go. Secret number 2 is today. At this point, it's absolutely critical for you to identify what you really want. Go back and answer those questions. Now, you don't have to really answer, but if you want to answer, did anybody go back and read this book since last class? Did anybody crack it open, look at the questions? You got the book? You read the book. Amazing, good. So, go, take the book, take 2 hours, go to a library, open the book up, do the exercise. It'll change your life. The hardest work you have to do is on yourself. If you listen to the podcast, Brian says that's really the hardest work as an entrepreneur, is taking the time and just sitting down with no distractions and just thinking. Sometimes I do it on the side of the road. I'll just pull over with my pad and I just start writing stuff down. In the evening, during the day, because I need a time to just get the thoughts out. So if you're not doing that, you should make a habit of thinking. Because usually we just usually kind of go through the motions and we don't stop and smell the coffee. So it's good to just stop and get your thoughts out, write it down, manifest it, because that's power in itself. All right, click. We basically talked about this. There's nothing wrong with wanting what you want. Believe in yourself and have a burning desire. I really want to get to secret number 2. I got a burning desire. Click. All right. No excuses. Okay? So the wealthy contractor takes total responsibility for every outcome in their business and their life. No excuses. So you got to have clarity and know what you want, and then no excuses. It's easy to make excuses. It's easy to blame people. It's easy to blame circumstances. Say, this is how I was born, and this is where I came from. That's all circumstance. That's all blaming. It's very easy. Everything in your life that happens to you is because of you. What you have, or what we have or don't have, is because of you. You are the creator of your life. You are the author of your story. We have 100% control over what we think about. Do you ever stop and think about what you're thinking about? What we believe today, what we do today, and how we react to what's happening. So I learned this in the growth conference. The guy talked about responsibility, the word responsibility. It's like 2 words. It's response and ability. So we're all responsible, right? So as long as you have the ability to respond, that's what makes us responsible, is we have the ability to respond. So it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it. You have the choice. Are you going to respond with anger? Are you going to take a deep breath? Are you going to let stuff pass over your shoulder? How you respond to life is really, that's your ability. And once you lose that ability, you're dead. So as long as we're alive, we have the ability to choose how we feel, how we respond to people, how we react to good news, bad news. You have the filter. What you let in and how you respond to it is up to you. As entrepreneurs, we strive freedom. The majority of people don't have control over their lives. Most people have jobs. They have to call in, they call out, they have to punch a clock. You don't have freedom. Most people don't have freedom. We entrepreneurs, we strive for freedom. And as a result, the people that don't have freedom, they live within self-imposed limitations. Why? Because they chose to get a job. They chose not to take the risk of having a business like us and said, you know what, I'm going to have a stable, paycheck. Okay. Well, now you can only go on vacations certain times a year because your coworker's also out that week. Or there's a company policy. You can't take off December 31st. So I've never been away for New Year's because my wife can't take off December 31st. Everybody has to work on December 31st. Me, I take off whenever I want. So as entrepreneurs, we strive to have that freedom. We're not waiting for something outside of us to provide the life we want. We rely on our own hard work, our own determination, and our own will. Right? Click. So look for solutions. These little things, this is my little, just so you know, in the red part, this is my little like 3-word kind of caption for that thought, for that page. And then this is I take directly out of the book. I just take the quote and I put it out there and I just type it up. But this is what I think is the theme for that couple of pages. So look for solutions. How can you take more responsibility for your life right now so you can control more of your outcomes? Think about a recent situation that didn't go your way or something you're struggling with right now at work. And ask yourself 2 questions. Knowing what I know now, what could I have, typo. I'm very good at this stuff, sorry. My apologies. What could I have done differently to avoid this situation? Right? So it's hindsight. We're getting smarter. You look back at it, recognize patterns. You know what? I've been in this situation before, Miss Jones, or, you know, there's a Miss Johnson. I kind of see the writing on the wall. This is how I'm going to approach the situation. Let me try something different than I did last time. Because the last 5, 6 clients that I've had an issue with, I'm a big hothead. First few years, I literally had screaming matches with these clients. And I would like go nuts. And my wife's like, they're going to leave you a bad review. I'm like, I don't give a shit. They could do whatever they want. Like, I would literally screaming matches. Last few years, people have noticeably told me, they're like, Steve, you're really calm. You're just like so cool and collected. Like you never, we never see you like worked up. I'm like, yeah, it took many years for me to get here. Because you realize that every time you snap and you go crazy, you're burning people and you're leaving like scars. And you're not building bridges. You're not finding solutions. So, what can I do going forward to prevent the situation from happening again?
We don't always get to control what happens to us, but we always get to control how we react to it. Just remember that.
Exactly. The ability to respond. Click. Okay. We're almost done. Secret number 2 was much shorter. And this presentation took longer now because, again, I did the recap. But going forward, I really think it should take about 10 minutes because just we're going to cover the chapters. So make a vow. From this day forward, I will never, never, never again place blame or make excuses for why I didn't get what I wanted. Don't blame your guys because you hired them. Don't blame the materials, the place you order materials. Don't blame anybody. The buck stops here. The buck stops with you. The buck stops with you. Take full responsibility of every action and outcome. Even if you had no control over it. Who cares? It's my responsibility. It's my show. I should have known better. Next time I'm going to order from a different place. I'll make sure I keep it in stock. I'm not going to run into this issue again. If you run into the same issue twice, shame on you. Right? If you run into an issue once, it's a learning process, right? You learn. It's like burn me once, okay. Burn me twice. No, you're not burning me twice, right? Like shame on you. Like you ever heard that saying? It's like fool me once, right? But you're not going to fool me twice. So why are we fooling ourselves twice? Why are we making the same mistakes more than once? You made a mistake once, don't ever let it happen again. Realize what you did wrong. Look in that mirror. You know, when you're pointing a finger at everybody else, I learned this also, is when you're pointing a finger, the thumb, keep that up. Because what does that mean? Look back at yourself. Don't just point and say, oh, it was him, it was him, it was her. What did you do? And what could you have done differently? Believe in yourself. Click. I think we're done now. All right, so summary, secret number 1 is we know what we want, clarity, and we reverse engineer our lives to get there. And secret number 2 is take responsibility for every outcome. Now, next up is going to be commitment. That'll be next month. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Oh, January, because next month is the holiday party. So next year, we'll pick up with secret number 3. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.